When you're a homeschool mom, you have a pretty full plate, but you can create the perfect homeschool routine to help you balance the homeschool work with your other responsibilities like the cooking and the cleaning. Hi, I'm Christy with Homeschooling in Progress, and in this video, I'm going to help you find ways to create that perfect homeschool routine so that when you wake up in the morning, you are not exhausted before your feet even hit the floor, or so that you don't get overwhelmed when something unexpected happens because you just don't have time in your day to fit it in. I'm going to help you alleviate those frustrations and give you some more time to your day through your homeschool routine. So when you're creating that homeschool routine, what are some things that you might want to think about? Well, my biggest tip, and something I try to do any chance I get in our homeschool, is to combine my kids as much as possible. So when you combine your children in as many subjects as you can, you're taking all of that extra teaching time that you would have spent teaching each of your children, and you're taking it away. You don't have to teach each of your kids science. You don't have to teach each of your kids history or art or any of the other subjects that you may be able to combine them with. So how can you combine your kids? Well, one way we like to do it is with a morning basket. When you create a morning basket, you put all of those items that your whole family can do together. Art class, music class, maybe some poetry or learning about Shakespeare, read alouds, a nature study. Those are all things that kids of any age can do together. And they're things that are really fun for kids of all ages to do together. And so you combine your kids with them and you put it all together in a basket, which, makes the perfect term morning basket. You can do it right away in the morning so it doesn't get pushed aside when all those other things come up and you just don't have time. So put in anything that you can do with all of your kids together. Another way to combine kids is to maybe combine them for science and history. So, you may be thinking, how can I combine my kindergartner and my eighth grader for science or for history? Well, you don't give them the exact same lessons, but maybe you do the same topic. So, say for history, your kindergartner, if you're studying ancient history, maybe your kindergartner is building pyramids with Legos or, something like that, while your eighth grader is studying an Egyptian pharaoh and doing a little report about that person. So it's the same kind of topic. You're still talking about ancient history, but it's meant for their level. And so you're not teaching different times of history from many multitude of books. You can maybe choose one book that talks about ancient history, and then the kids go off and do learning at their level. And you can do the same thing for science. So those are also great subjects to combine, along with everything that you also put in your morning basket. If your kids are close in age, you might even be able to combine them more. I like to combine my kids who are a couple years apart with grammar and literature. And so I'm only teaching those topics or those subjects one time, but they're both, I use multi-level curriculum so that they can, if it's something for fifth through seventh grade, my fifth grader and my seventh grader, it's both on their level. And so if your kids are close in age, that's another idea for you. So number one tip always is to combine your kids as much as possible. That is one definite way that you're going to shorten your homeschool day. So when you're creating that routine, think about anything that you can put your kids together for. Another thing that you want to think about when you're doing your routine are what are those subjects that you really need to have in your homeschool day? What are your non-negotiables? Do you have to do math in a homeschool day? Do you have to do a Bible time in your homeschool day or a prayer time? Think about those things that those are must-have subjects for you. And those are going to take priority when you're setting up your routine because you don't want those to get pushed aside or to not have time to get them in. So even if you don't do them first thing, make sure you have them in your day so that, you have that time for them. Okay, and then also while you're planning that time, make sure you plan in some extra time because let's face it, when you're a mom, and especially homeschool moms, things are going to come up during the day. You may have some kids that need a little bit more time to kind of wake up or get in that cheery, ready for school mood. You may have an unexpected phone call or visitor come. You may have some kids that just are not getting it in whatever subject that day. And so you need that extra time to kind of review with them and make sure that they understand it. You don't want to feel rushed to get to the next subject because, oh, nope, it's 10 o'clock. We have to move on. You want to have extra time to know that it's okay. We can, we have that extra time to kind of build in and do this review. Also, your kids may really take to something that you're teaching them that day and want to learn about it further. So make sure that you have that extra time for rabbit holes as well so you can go down and explore them. So build in extra time in your day. When you have that extra time built in, if you don't use it, well, then you have some more free time at the end of the day. And who doesn't love more free time? But chances are that time's going to get eaten up by the unexpected. So make sure that you have it built in. And also don't forget your outside activities. If your kids have soccer practice, you don't want to forget that. Or if they have a piano lesson, you don't want to forget those things. So make sure that you plan those into your routine as well. Make sure that you plan time for your chores, for you and for your kids. Have set days that you do certain things or set times or built in around a certain part of your day. And make sure that you have time set aside for those chores. And that's how you're going to create that balance with your homeschool work and your other responsibilities. If you're trying to do everything at one time, if you're trying to clean while you're trying to read, while you're trying to help with math, that's just going to lead to disaster. You are going to be so stressed out and overwhelmed, and nothing's going to end up getting done or not get done very well. So make sure you build time in for everything. Okay, so I've shared those tips. Now, how can you put that routine together? I know all these things that need to go into it, but how do I set that up? Well, first of all, I suggest that you don't create a schedule, which when I think of schedules, I think of times. Don't necessarily do that as much as just kind of fitting in kind of the part of the day you want things to happen. So when you're creating your routine, yes, some things will have to get scheduled. If you have piano lessons on Tuesdays at 1:30, I don't think the instructor's going to be too happy when you show up at 3 because that's when it fit into your day. So yes, some things are going to have to get scheduled. So maybe fill those in with the times first so then you can kind of work around them. But maybe build things to your day, build your routine around an anchor or several anchors. I like to use food as our anchors because that's something we do every day. Oh, these kids eat all the time. And so I build our homeschool day around breakfast and lunch and snacks. So in the morning, they know that they have chores that they need to get done before they start school. And that includes breakfast and emptying the dishwasher, cleaning their rooms, things like that. And then we do our school day and we have a certain routine to that. We start with a fun song to dance a little. Then we sit down and we do our prayers and we start our morning basket. And then we move on to our group work like history and science. Then we have a little break where we have our lunch and a nice big break for recess. Then the kids come back and they do their individual work. And so they have, their online math program that we do. They have their, any type of like handwriting and things like that. Anything like that that they need to do on their own, that's done after lunch. And then we have a nice quiet time where everyone just kind of separates and chills by themselves for a little while so mom can have some quiet time too. And then we, usually have sports going on in the evenings that we were working around with dinner and the end of the day activities. But we kind of follow the same routine throughout our days. I do laundry on certain days. We always empty the dishwasher in the morning. And so there are certain things that we do that are just built into the routine. And so when you do that and you build everything together, that's when you create that routine that helps simplify your day. Because you don't want to be exhausted when as soon as you open your eyes in the morning. That's going to be a very long day. You don't want to end up in a heap of crying on the floor because of something unexpected happening and you just don't have time for it. So make sure that you build that routine to your day, that homeschool routine, so that you can fit in all of those pieces of everything that you have to do and everything that fills up that plate, and make sure that it gets done. So make sure that you create that wonderful homeschool routine so that you and your children can enjoy your homeschool days. Thanks for watching. Happy homeschooling.